saw tonight because that's usually a team that it's usually a team that's been playing together for a few years, that know each other for a few years, that have been in their roles for a few years, and to mesh and then beat a team. Listen, if Draymond Green played tonight, we beat them by 25, 30 instead of 40. And, and that's real. Like, is there any exaggeration on that? Did it even look close? Ah, yeah. That is so true. That is so true because the this was the second unit. Matter of fact, the third unit was the team that was playing in the playoffs plus Caris. You, you know, like I, I was talking to a Knick fan today, and he said to me, "Yeah, but what are you gonna do for a bench? Just Caris?" And I was like, "You know what? The third string. Looking at this roster, the third string is the team that we had in the bubble, and we did pretty well in the bubble. Their former starting power forward. That's and again, I think that's just the trickle down. It's just how much of an effect, how much Kevin Durant reverberates through your team, and then how unfair it is that Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant are reverberating through your team. Last year, Game One, we barely eked out a win against the Knicks. This year, Game One, we slapped the Golden State Warriors silly with a healthy Curry. And that's not saying much because obviously there's no Klay Thompson, there's no Draymond Green. Those are big weapons. But if those guys play tonight, is the game a 10-point game? Is it a 15-point game? I, I He's a player, man. I liked what I saw from Wiseman, but again, I felt like even some of the things that he was able to do had more to do was just that he had a little bit more pep in his step than DeAndre Jordan. Um, DeAndre Jordan, I will have to say, there's nothing to be mad at. There's nothing to really like. I sent out a few disparaging tweets as I do. Um, uh, he just it's not his fault. He's just older, and he's been jumping a long time, and the guy is not the same. That's not Clippers DeAndre Jordan. That's not even Dallas Mavericks DeAndre Jordan. This is a this is this there's been a Knicks DeAndre Jordan, and now he's with us. I feel like and I'm not going to get into that because again, it doesn't matter if he starts or Jarrett Allen starts. It really doesn't matter as of yet, but I think it will hurt them when they play a team like the Bucks because you could put Jarrett Allen on on Giannis. Yeah, matter of fact, he's been the best defender on Giannis for the Nets, even though Giannis, you know, basically, jailhouse rapes us every time he plays. but but the best defender, like Kenny Atkinson, had figured this out at the end when it was too late for him, I guess. And that Jarrett is athletic enough, fast enough, long enough, jumps off the floor fast enough to guard Giannis. You can't do that with DeAndre. And I hope Kevin Durant realizes this and finds a better way. Like, doesn't mean that Jarrett has to start. It just means that you might have to bring him in earlier. You might have to take DeAndre off the floor earlier or something, because he's just not athletic enough. His whole game was athleticism. And am I tripping? Am I being too hard on DeAndre on a night that basically I could barely find anything wrong with the team? Yeah. Yeah, if he's running, right, like on the oop Durant threw him, he was running, right? He basically had a head of steam in front of him, exactly. But there was a couple of Dinwiddie lobs and there was a Caris lob there for him that none of them came off because he doesn't get off the floor fast enough. He still jumps, he still dunks, but even the one that KD threw him, it wasn't like he was up above the rim and just flushed it. He's a rim grazer now, and that's not good. That's right. Yeah, you know what, that's an excellent point. That's why I'm not 100% like, get him off the floor, start Jared, he did have 11 rebounds tonight, right? He had 4 points, you know, uh 2 for 3, not horrible. He's just but that's where we're going to love him is when he's got old man strength, right? That's what you're gonna want against the MBs. That's what you're gonna want against the Jonathan Isaacs. No, Jonathan Isaacs way too fast for him. But it's against the physical centers where you're going to need him. But he also, another thing that I noticed about DeAndre is when they pull him out of the paint, he doesn't retreat back into the paint fast enough, right? I'm always seeing the baseline wide open because if Wiseman and there was a couple switches where oddly enough Kyrie ended up on Wiseman. Kyrie really believes he's 7 feet though. Like he was fearless tonight, and I don't want him doing that. But still, whenever you pull DeAndre away from the basket, his speed to retreat and get back and protect the rim is slow. And what the league is going to do is, at first, this Nets thing is going to confound everybody. Like, the first 10 days, we are going to just crush teams. And then people are going to start to figure out what it is that makes us tick. And then they're going to send us something. And then that's when we find out about Nash. Can he adjust when people figure out what we can't do? And, but still, even when that happens, when people figure out what we can't do, we're still going to be an offensive juggernaut. We're still going to, kills teams and just run up scores. And I don't see how anyone scores with us because you're going to get KD in waves. If Kyrie, like KD didn't have the greatest night. He was amazing. He didn't do bad at all. He didn't even play the third quarter, so he probably could have had 30 tonight easy. Exactly. And still, like it's that's not even the best that we're going to be. So, man, I'm hyped. I'm hyped. I'm hyped. Look, if Levert doesn't win Sixth Man of the Year this year, something's wrong. He looked like a. You know what? Here's something else that you know, and this is kind of what separates Caris LeVert from the superstars in the upper tier all stars in the league, and it's just his efficiency. He's got to shoot 38% plus. He has to shoot 80% plus from the line. That's just what the standard has to be. You know, Caris is my eldest son. I love that kid, and he looked like a superstar today against these bench scrubs. And he showed the full repertoire. Like I thought nobody got busy. Like I thought he was the best player in terms of just visually looking at what he's doing. But got yeah no he was incredible. But in order for him to go to that next level, he has to become more efficient. He has to make the wide open threes, and he hit them tonight. Um, but for me, if I've already laid the bet, I put $50 on Caris. I put $50 on Caris winning the Sixth Man of the Year, and of course I already had a significant bet on us making the NBA Finals, and I have a smaller, more humble bet, $100 that we win the championship. So I'm gassed, man. I'm gassed. If you had to say something was bad tonight, what would you say didn't look good tonight? And Curry didn't have a great shooting night himself. You know, if I mm, yeah, Torian Prince. Let's